Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I don't know what's wrong with my voice, but it's kind of weird. It
Yeah.
wants to crack.
Yeah, sounds weird.
You get hoarse sometimes, too. See what I mean? It wants to crack. Just weird.
I ain't gonna say nothing.
You always do.
I don't want to say nothing.
You just said something by not saying something.
Oh,
Do you ever hear somebody say, I'm not going to say nothing, and you know by that very remark that they have. They have said something. They haven't released what they're thinking from their mind, but they have just let you know they're thinking it. Okay, something to start it off with. I guess we're getting to that season in life where you lose people. But I mean, that can happen any time in life. But we're getting kind of, I guess, to that season where it happens more often. But unfortunately, it also happens to young people. And grief is something that everybody grieves in their own way. But personally, I don't think anybody should do it alone. Some people like to be on their own and just, that if you get in a dangerous spot when it comes to depression or something, because there are relationships that close. But now, my parents died, 2 or 3 years ago?
yeah.
And I really didn't feel a grief over it because in what we believe, I'm not telling you what to believe, but what we believe, they knew God, they knew Jesus Christ very well. And God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, they're all one. And so I knew where they were going. And Mom didn't know who we are, hadn't for a long time. And Dad was getting to the point where, I mean, his mind was sharp, but he was losing a lot of other function. And they were both in a nursing care home. So I didn't really feel grief at the time. I know others did. I know a lot of the grandkids did. I guess when you have had your whole life with someone, or maybe I'm just weird, I don't know.
You're weird.
I'm weird. But that doesn't mean that I find myself thinking more about things we did growing up and more nostalgia for where we grew up, thinking about Mom's gardens, her cooking, all the things she taught us. Sewing wasn't one that I was really appreciative of, but I'm glad I learned. Anyway, yeah. And just other stuff that they taught us. Now, Joe hadn't known them as long, but they were in his life longer than his own parents were. So, and I know a lot of the kids did, but one thing that helps, at least I've had the impression that helps, is that when a family gathers after the funeral, which is what a lot of us do, then we get to tell memories. We get to share memories and tell stories of when we can cry together. That stuff is all very fulfilling and yeah.
I'm just looking.
Okay. Anyway, when his mom died, I hadn't known her all that long, but I think maybe I was kind of in between grief and not grief. I don't know how you felt. I mean, I know you grieved. You're wrong.
I was 35,
Yeah.
so you'd been 36. And,
Well, we knew her differently. That was the thing.
and so you knew her 14 years anyway.
But Joe, she said, Joe is always special. Now, I've never believed in being favorites, but I guess he kind of was, but he was to the brothers too. And he still is to the brothers. But when she passed, I think I missed the fact that she needed me, because before she went into the hospital and into care, skilled care for the last time, she would come to me if she had a problem with her blood pressure or anything. It's like, wait, I can get there. No, come on. It's like, Clara, don't drive like this. And I was mad at her, but I wasn't, if you know what I mean. You love them, you don't want them to take those kinds of chances. But they put her in a care facility, said she wouldn't be with us for more than maybe 3 months at most. Yeah. She was there 7 years. And that first part of that, she had such a good relationship with the nursing staff because she was able to keep them laughing. And she would write poems, but she couldn't see anymore. And so they would kind of go tapering off. And I have those notebooks somewhere. I was going to type them all up in a little memory book. But now I don't know where they are. And we lost his sister-in-law, well, our sister-in-law. And I had not been close to her at all. I won't say it all. We had been close in the sense that we had worked at the same place. I'm talking about Cindy. But I'd always had, I don't know, kind of she'd just make me mad sometimes. And it wasn't like we got into big heated arguments or anything, but just things she'd do, and I was different kind of mom, and I was different kind of this, and it was like, why don't she do this? Why don't she, the mom judging thing. After she passed, I did go through that guilt phase. And I talked to my other sister-in-law, Janie, and she said yes, she kind of had gone through the same thing about it. Because we both had our differences with her, but I'm sure they had their differences with me too. And then a year or 2 years since Janie, her other sister on his side, she passed away. It's a little dark or what? She passed away 2 years ago, totally unexpected. She was the one who was going to outlive us all. She was so healthy. And she looked after just about everybody, but she looked after herself too. And she was with a friend one day and she said, I think you better take me to the hospital, I don't feel right. And I think by the time they got there, not long after, she was gone. She had a massive coronary. Now, just a small heart attack generally isn't fatal. But if somebody has a massive coronary, a massive heart attack, that's the heart muscle dies. And that was hard for a lot of them, for her husband and her boys. Her husband, they were living out of state. He didn't want to come back here for a long time. Now he is. He's the one Joe takes the cupcakes to every week.
There we go. Well,
just about every week. Sometimes it's every
week. I'd take him in time for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
See, he rubbed his belly and said, oh, hold off on it.
Sounds like Monty. Monty's always been such a guy. I mean, yeah. He raced stock cars.
It's just dirt track racing.
Yeah, dirt track. Started back during Prohibition. Yeah. Because they would soup up their cars to outrun the cops when they were carrying booze. anyway, but he raced stock cars. Him and then his sons, and I think one of his grandsons has been in it, or maybe still in it. And it's just been a whole thing through their family. I don't know what this has to do with grief, but it's something they share. And personally, I don't think it's good for anybody to grieve alone. And some people refuse to grieve, or they just don't feel that it's necessary. I hate to give out names.
I'm sure there's a lot of families out there grieving.
Yes.
I mean, throughout the world.
Well, that's just it. And that's why I think it's important to have a conversation about it. Because there will be a day we'll be gone.
Yep.
That's something that happens to everybody sooner or later. And
We've got our plots bought, but we haven't got a stone yet.
but the kids know that we've taken care of a lot of some of the stuff. They aren't going to end up not having any idea what to do. I asked Joe if he could just make it himself. He gave me a face.
I'm not a rock mason.
Nope. But they carve them. I think they use machines though.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm not trying to make light of grief. I'm not. It's just, you need to be able to have a sense of humor.
We've got a rock out there that might be able to put couple of our letters on it.
I mean, right there in the rock garden. around-
Yeah, limestone rock.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Stack them up, put some sealant on them, and do it like they did out on the prairie.
Yeah. Or I just make a wooden stick, wooden cross.
Yeah.
How's that?
Well, then they'd have to be two different ones.
Make it out of treated lumber.
Well, there you go.
It'll last for 25 years.
My mom, this is one reason why I am glad that we are taking care of this stuff ahead of time. Because my mom used to talk to my grandma. And she would ask her, what do you want us to do when you go? Because they were getting way up there. And Mom wasn't trying to be. She just wanted to know Grandma's wishes. Oh, just throw me in a ditch. That's all she ever would say. Just throw me in a ditch. Drove my mother crazy. So, I don't know. We're trying to prepare so that hopefully it won't be for a good long time. But hopefully the kids won't have to worry. So, I've seen families torn apart over things like who's going to pay for a headstone and that kind of thing. I just don't like to see that. There's 6 of us, just the kids, not the in-laws. Although he's included. And so Dad said, I don't know what to do for you guys. There's 6 of you. But everything turned out fine. And they had their plots long ago because my brothers had lost a couple of, him and his first wife had lost a couple stillborns. So they bought a family plot back then. And they had their headstone there ready for their last year to be put on it. Anyway, I'm not trying to be morbid. I'm just trying to... This is something everybody is affected by at some point. That's just it. As generations go and they go by. I don't really know what else to say about it, except if you're having a hard time, if you've lost somebody close, if I lost Joe, I would be lost completely. Now, if he lost me, he'd say, hey, I can go cross country.
Yeah, right.
No. We're very close, but there's a saying, if you have to laugh or you'll cry. It's okay to cry sometimes though. Give yourself permission to cry. Give yourself permission to be a little angry at yourself, to go through the guilt. There's several stages to grief, and you can go back and forth for a long time. So, I really don't know what else to say. I mean, there's
You just
denial.
People have different feelings, that's all.
Yes, they do. And
And they grieve differently.
that's exactly it.
There's no set way of doing it. But everybody has to deal with it at some time or another.
Yes. And just, the other thing is, be patient. Is that your phone?
That's your phone.
It's probably another one of those, it's probably one of those spam things.
Check it.
Knowing how people that we love are going through things lately, and knowing that people around the world go through this, no matter where they are, no matter who they are. They do go through it. You're not weak. And if you aren't the kind who openly grieves, you're not unfeeling. You still feel. It's just that you don't openly show emotion. And that's okay too. Take care of yourselves. Good night. Joe loves you too. He's just a little busy right now.